Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Football Manager 22 Beta Save Rebuilding Vicenza. In this episode we'll just quickly review what we've done in the transfer window before we have a away game at Fiorentina in the Cup and then our opening game in the league against Spal at home in Serie B. So we'll just quickly look at the transfers we made. We didn't do many. In terms of transfers out, we tried to unload some players to get them off the wage bill. And in terms of deals we did, we got rid of Riccardo Meggierini, who was one of our veteran strikers. We got Mario Iriardi, he went. And then we managed to get in a couple signings as well. So we got Gabriele Moncini. He's come in as a second striker up front. So we've swapped to a 4-4-2. We've now got two good strikers at that kind of 3-4 star ability that will hopefully get us the goals required to get us up top end of the table. And in that weak area on the right-hand side of midfield, we've signed Cristiano Lombardi from Lazio. So he'll fill in that right-hand wing role and hopefully be able to give us the service we need to our strikers. So getting into the first match then, here's the lineup against Fiorentina away in the Italian Cup. We've got Grandi in goals, Calderoni at left-back, Padella and Capelletti in the centre defence with Bruskagin at right-back. Got Del Monte on the left. Tagordo in the middle with Rigoni and Lombardi on the right, and Diao and Moncini up front. So that's what we're going with to start. We've got a cautious approach because we're playing high league opposition, and we'll just see how we get on. Obviously, nobody really fancies us to do well against Fiorentina, who are a Serie A club. But this will be a good little test of where we are in terms of current squad ability. There is some room in the wage budget and the transfer budget if required to bring in one gust in two more players, but we'll see what we can do. Again, I've had a play about with the camera because I know the voice was very unsynced originally. I think I've managed to get it a little bit better, but let me know in the comment section if it's still making people seasick. So let's get them out for the first game of the season. That's the first time I've played a match on FM22, so it's asking me to sort out a whole load of settings, which we will duly do. So let's see. Don't want 2D classic. Maybe try TV. Camera height's alright. Zoom's probably alright. We'll have sounds off. We'll go for key highlights. Just try to speed up a little bit. Get the speed up in between. Don't need the replays on goal. So let's see how we get on with that. So into the game and we will see how we get on. So playing in red. Playing the ball about at the back at the minute. It'll take me a while to get the pronunciation of some of these players. It's not the same as the Smiths and the McDonald's you get in the English game. Slightly a bit trickier for me to pronounce them all, so we'll see how we get on. Don't know why we're looking at the Fiorentina formation. We want Vicenza and a visualizer. So yeah, it's 5 minutes in, not looking too bad. Again, I think it's one where we'll be under a lot of pressure, and it's just a case of surviving that pressure and see if we can get the odd chance going the other way. Squad wise, I think we're looking pretty good. I know we've still got 3 goalkeepers in the first team squad. We could do with one of them moving on to free up some wage budget. I've got someone in mind. We talked about in the first episode, but as of yet we've not had the bids in for him to get rid of him. Middle of the park I think looks good. Up top looks good. The wings are looking better than they did at the start. Left back's brilliant. Right back probably not quite as good, but overall the squad's not looking too shabby. In comparison to some of the other teams, I've not been back to review the comparison chart yet, but we will do so to see how much of an improvement we've made. And albeit we'll probably get dumped out of the cup quite early on, it's the league game that's more important, so seeing how we get on in them league matches is going to be crucial into how we get on with the save. So highlight for Fiorentina now. Playing the ball through the middle of the park. I mean, already I've recognised a few of their players. It's Vlahovic, slots the ball in the bottom corner. So the first goal of our FM22 save comes against us, but not to be unexpected. 25 minutes in, we've not had a shot on target yet. Still playing a bit cautious. We might have to get a bit more adventurous in the second half. But until we get there, we'll just try and see this first half out, stay in the game as best we can, and in the second half we'll seek to maybe make some inroads of our own. It's also a good chance to see which players are going to perform in the positions they're in. Lombardi, I mean, he's a new player, so it'll take him a few games to get bedded in. Diao and him playing 6.4s, the rest of the team not playing too bad. But again, it's hard against the tougher opposition. We'll get a better view when we play Spal in the second game of the episode. Again, let me know in the comment section what you're doing in your Football Manager 22 saves. If you've got any interesting ones going on, how you're getting on, what you think of the new features. I'm actually quite liking the look of the new transfer system. Certainly the scouting page looks a little bit more user-friendly than it has been in the past. Some of the other pages I've not yet been to. I've heard a lot about deadline day, so I'm looking forward to see what happens when we get to the end of the transfer window, and whether it'll tempt us into making any moves or letting anybody go that we weren't really considering letting go. So into the second half then, we're just going to move up from that cautious approach to a bit more balanced. Mancini's now dropped off a little bit in terms of performance. And again, in terms of a striker we brought in, he's 25 years old. He's at a good potential already for Serie B with room to grow. So at 25, I think he's an investment for this season and next season. So I think he's quite a shrewd signing, but obviously we'll see how he gets on as we channel up the left-hand side with Calderone, but he's lost the ball to Torreira, formerly of Arsenal. He's delivered the ball into the box. We managed to get it clear. The threat's not over yet as they get the ball in the box again, and it looks like we've conceded a penalty. VAR coming in. We only saw it once in my time in Football Manager 21, so this is new for me. Penalty awarded. Oh, already I hate it. Not really. It's just it's the first one and it's gone against us. But at first view, I thought it was a penalty anyway, so not too disheartened by that. We'll just see how the game develops. We might look to make a couple of changes fitness-wise for the next game. They've all dropped off their performance a little bit in that balanced approach, so we'll try a little bit more positive approach. Just give some encouragement to the team. Oh, so I mean, again, I'm not so sure, and I can't remember from FM21 if it told you about your opposition substitutions, but if that's new, it's quite good because it gives you an idea of what changes and tactical approaches they might be making as the game goes on, and you can potentially look to counter them threats. Fiorentina then with a free kick. Back to the halfway line. Again, Milenkovic. Some great plays in that Fiorentina side. Long ball at the top. Over to Vlahovic. He looked offside to me, but it wasn't given, so we'll let them take their corner. Torreira seems to be getting a lot of space. No, it's quite hard because I don't normally play a 4-4-2. I normally like to have the wingers, but we didn't really have the squad for it. It might be something we move to in the future. I like a back four. I probably like an extra man in the middle of the park. So more of a 4-3-2-1, something along them lines. But until the squad develops and we can rotate in players who are better suited, we can't really do it. So we'll get longer one for Diao, just for these final 18 minutes. Got another couple of players who are starting to tire. It's Fiorentina over corner. Looks like Del Monte might be able to clear it and we get a break there, but no such luck. That's Fiorentina getting again. So it's been a tough test, this one. Look at that XG. Oh my, it's a stark contrast. to the games we've had previously. I mean, in the unemployed to unstoppable save with Millwall, as you maybe have seen, we don't often sit at 0.01. But again, it takes time to build the team into the way you want it to play, especially if it's a team you're unfamiliar with. And one of the reasons I chose Vicenza is it's a league I'm not as familiar with. Obviously, I love Serie A and I watched it when I was young, but I'm not as familiar with it in terms of Football Manager, and it means I can mess about and I can play with FM22 in a different league. So when I start an unemployed to unstoppable, I'm not going through the same players and the same teams again. Because one of the things I've noticed, a lot of people who play Football Manager, they tend to just keep buying the same players over and over again, and I don't really see the appeal of it. For me, it's a story-based game, so I like trying to take a lower league club. I like to develop it. I like to use the scouts and see who's suggested to you, who might fit into your squad, who's available at the time, and just see where the league takes you, where your journey takes you. So again, we'll get too disheartened by this first game. We'll look to develop it. We'll look at the players who perform well, the players who don't, and we'll adjust and hopefully thrive as we move on. So final whistle coming up. There we go. 3-0 defeat. Not a great one for the start of the season. Not great viewing. Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with the assistant manager. I don't know why I clicked it. I thought that might happen. But there you go. So stay tuned. I'll click us through and I'll get us ready for the first home league game. And we'll see if we can put in a much better and much more evenly matched performance. So I'll catch you shortly. And welcome back for the home game against Spal to open up Serie B. So we've got Grandi in goals, Calderoni at left back, Bruskagin at right back. We've got Brosco and Capelletti holding up centre defence. Del Monte on the left wing, Lombardi on the right wing, Rigoni is the ball-winning midfielder, and Big Man T is box-to-box midfielder, because I'm not going to try and pronounce his name again. And then we've got Moncini and Diarra up front. We're going to go with a balanced approach, just while we get a feel for what the other team's like, and see how we get on. Hopefully, we can put in a much more competitive performance than we did against Fiorentina. I was in between looking at the transfer window and the scouted players to see who's available as possibly boosting the squad. But I think for the sake of making the most of the transfer deadline day, I'm going to hold on to the funds we've got left and see what transfer deadline day is all about on Football Manager 22, because it's meant to be one of the new features. So I'll keep some money and I might take us through deadline day on the next episode. So here we go then. Vicenza versus Spal. I'm hoping that we can put in, or certainly get a few more shots on target. Maybe get to see one of the new signings do something. It'd be nice if they could introduce themselves and hit the ground running as we move forward. Actually, gonna go a bit more positive. And let's shout some encouragement just to get the team going at the start of the match. It worked quite well on FM21. Tagodo's got the ball. Calderoni back to Brosco. Capelletti, Rigoni. Ball up to Diao as a target man. Lombardi down the right hand side of the new signing. Can he find a player? He's cut it back to Bruskagin. Lombardi. Bruskagin back to Rigoni. All the way back to Capelletti. Big Man T again. Lombardi. So great interchange. And unfortunately, we weren't able to find a goal at the end of it, but there was some good passage of play in there. How Godot? I'm gonna struggle with that. It's a bit of a tongue twister. But yeah, not too bad as an opening. Some good interchange and play there. We are quite. I think we have got quite a bit of technical skills within this team. It was nice to see Lombardi on the ball. It's just a shame we couldn't get the ball to drop to one of the guys up front to get a proper, more threatening shot up there. So 20 minutes into the game, fairly even, but again, we're not creating too much. So I'm not sure if that's instructional, tactical, or player-based, but it's a bit of a minor concern as it stands. We'll just demand more from the players. Rigoni not happy. Big Man T very happy, and the strikers were happy with that. But again, in terms of creativity, we're not doing too much in the way of making shots. And I'm hoping when the data center opens after you play 3 games, we get a little bit of a better view on how to utilise that. As De Monti picks up the ball on the left-hand side, into Mancini, gets it to Lombardi. Diao breaks past the back 4. He's unable to finish. So again, we're looking quite threatening on that counter. Corner ball then from Calderone. In it goes. Rattles about in the box for a second, but we were again unable to get that final chance in. But certainly, although we've not created a lot, we've looked better than we did in the first match, which can only be a promising thing. And again, like I said before, it'll take a little bit of time to build some momentum and get the right players and the right tactics in. But there's certainly nothing beyond our capabilities here. Big Man T playing a 7 in the middle of the park, which is good to see. We need to see another couple players stepping it up and just hitting the higher performance range. So everything above a 7 obviously goes green for those who've played it before. And if you go below, I think it's 5.6, they go red. So overall, first half, we're not winning on anything really. So we need to change something for that second half. Dig deep. Put in a performance. Then we'll get them out there. I'm going to switch us a bit more attacking because I would like to get us off to a good start. So Brusquegin down the right hand side with a throw into Diao, to Brusquegin, to Lombardi on the wing, Rigoni, Capelletti, Brosco. So we're changing the play across the wings again. Big Man T Mancini into Diao, and again he's missed it. It might just be a run of games he needs. Get used to finishing it, but as it stands, we're making a bit of a waste of the chances we're getting. So the corner ball goes in, but it goes sailing over the bar. Again, some promising stuff out there. Del Monte not playing great. Calderone also not playing great. So that left-hand side of the pitch is looking like a fairly weak area at the minute. I know it's 1 game in, but these are things we have to keep a trend on. 2 shots on target. Just going to ask for a bit more encouragement. Certainly think this is a game that we should be winning if we want to be competitive at the top of the league. Not saying we can do it straight away. There is a bit of the transfer window left, but if we can recognise earlier where our supposed weak areas might be, we could potentially get somebody in to plug the gap. But when I was looking earlier, I was thinking maybe a centre half. Capelletti's a good player, but Brosco's not quite at the same standard. But again, unless we see an area of weakness, we'll have to just assume that the squad's strong enough. It may also be that we'll go for wingers. I think Lombardi might be able to move slightly further forward, but we'll see. Spal with a chance then, in it goes. It's just gone wide, so while it's 0-0, we've got to be a bit wary of the counter-attack from Spal. Del Monte not having a great game, so we'll see who's on the bench. Again, he can play slightly more up the wing. We'll get Greco on. See if he can maybe pick up and make the impact we need down that left-hand side. Another chance for Spal then. But we've got the ball back with Brosco. Again, it's one of them that's just fading away in the middle of the park. Just need to find a way to get the ball back and make a counter. But the highlight comes to nothing. So Spal's starting to make a few substitutions as well. They've got a free kick. Don't give away another penalty. Oh, I can't believe this. Surely not. Got VAR again. Do you know, I don't want to say I hate VAR because that's 2 penalties in 2 games it's given against us. But it's not becoming a favourite thing, is it? So we find ourselves a goal down. Really, I'm not convinced that's deserved. We'll ask for a bit more from the players. 20 minutes to go. Spal have jumped ahead of us on XG, but that's mainly because they've had a penalty, and a penalty puts you up by at least one, I think. Calderoni, left back, again, he's playing a 6.4, which isn't ideal. So I'm thinking, I mean, shots and shots on target, it's not the worst. I mean, 11, 3 on target, we're very similar. We've just not been able to get one in the back of the net. And I'll look back in the first half to the chances that fell to Diao that he missed and think, well, maybe he should have done a bit better. But it's looking like with 7 minutes to go, this one might be going the same way as the first game. Lots of work to do, especially on the tactics side. I'll have a play with set pieces as well, and just see if we can find a way to create a little bit more up front and give them the chances they need to start being a bit more prolific. Oncini making his home debut, but he's not been able to find anything at all. I've not even seen him in the highlights reel. And this is going to fall to a stagnant 1-0 defeat again at the hands of VAR. So I think at the end of the day we can say Vicenza 0 VAR 2, which is unfortunate, but it's definitely given us room to grow. It's given us some food for thought. I'll play through with the tactics. I'll get through the transfer window, and obviously if there's anything interesting in the transfer window at deadline day, I'll record it and upload it for the next video. Yeah. So easy. It's my fault if we don't win. But yeah, lacked a bit of composure. Find ourselves quite low. It's only one game in, 38 game season. So we'll have a bit of a play with tactics and everything. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's good to get to see the new features of FM22 before the new Unemployed to Unstoppable series on the 9th of November. So once again, take care and I'll see you soon.